a best of 3 match between Digital Chaos and the Elite Wolves. We're into game 2 of this best of 3, and right now Elites are up 1-0. Elite Wolves are. So, right now, Digital Chaos kind of backs against the wall. Obviously, need this win to at least bring it to a game 3, bring it to an equalizer. But Elite Wolves looking really strong. I mean, they got their comfort pick with Slark, which was only semi-countered by heroes like Shadow Fiend and Slardar, both of them having some value against the hero, but not innately writing him off. So Slark was able to do pretty much whatever he wanted that game. Was able to move out around very aggressively with his Shadow Blade, and despite a couple of really good fights from DC, despite a lot of farm on TC, it just didn't work out after about 50 minutes time. So, going into game 2, looking at a new draft and a new style, hopefully from Digital Chaos, to try to bring us to the third game here. Thanks once again for tuning in here to Dota Star Ladder Ian. I myself am Blaze, bringing you guys the commentary for this game, and let's get into that draft. So, we're going to be looking here, a Darkseer opener coming in from the Elite Wolves. This means so much in terms of possibilities, but what do they really want to follow this up with? If they wanted the Wyvern, they're not going to get it. Darkseer Wyvern, I believe last patch, was a very, very common hero combination. Not necessarily just because the Vacuum and the Winter's Curse, which is nice, but more importantly, the fact that they are just really good at executing on their own independent lanes. Darkseer rarely loses the off lane in a very rigid sense, and Winter Wyvern can easily win the safe lane by zoning out hard. So by picking up the Darkseer Wyvern, you get 2 lanes that are at least 50-50 in winning, probably even better. Then you have a great teamfight potential later on. But in this case, with the Ember Spirit banned out, with the Wyvern picked up by Digital Chaos instead, Darkseer has less combo potential. We're just going to see the Queen of Pain picked up. Still a great hero by any right. When I draft, I often first pick her just because of her versatility. You can run her on the mid, you can run her on the off lane. In this case, of course, you're going to be seeing Smash here on the Queen of Pain. So, the great thing about Queen of Pain against Tusk is she's able to blink away from Snowball. She's able to really deny those ganks. So, it just makes it harder and harder for you to choose her as a target to pursue. And she's only semi-vulnerable to the Wyvern's Curse. She should be able to kind of keep her distance until she pounces to strike. Anyways, the subsequent bans are all carries from Elite Wolves. They're running out the Gyrocopter, the Alchemist. They're worried about TC getting just too big, and the Wyvern giving too much space for that. Alright, beyond that, the Huskar is actually going to be banned out, showing that Digital Chaos are probably going to be emphasizing a little bit more magical damage in the coming picks. So we'll see maybe a magical nuker for their mid position at the very least here. Shadow Fiend didn't have the best run, had a lot of pressure coming in from the Mirana and the Night Stalker. But this time it's not going to be that kind of a draft for me, Wolves, I don't think. I think they're more teamfight oriented, less pickoff oriented, and they would not have the means to control a Radiant SF nearly as well. So they just went ahead and banned that in Phase 1. And now has to look for something different. Still banning the Night Stalker just for good measure. Shadow Strike, Void, it's not fun to go up against. But what do they pick in his stead? I mean, there's a lot of good mid picks here. Templar Assassin is not terrible, but I'm trying to think of really what they want.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, Alchemist, SF, Queen of Pain, TA, those are the 4 heroes you look for the mid, and they're just not going to worry about it just yet. They're going to go for the Slaughter now. Bulba played amazingly well in the offlane with that, and now he's going to have some more direct support. We're going to see Aoi and Bulba dual laning together once again, but this time with a very synergetic combo, the Slaughter Tusk. So you expect a Dazzle to be picked up by Elite Wolves, probably in response. One of the few heroes that can survive that, yeah. So Dazzle is really strong against the Tusk Slaughter because Shadow Wave, all you have to do is stand on the heal of the creep wave when they go for the snowball play in, and you Shadow Wave yourself, not only healing yourself, increasing your survivability, but you'll also get Heal Bomb that allows your carry to turn. So then you just go for a heavy damage carry, somebody that fights early, and maybe you go for the Juggernaut. In this case, they've got the Darkseer, so you probably want something more like a Sven or something, I don't know. But the bottom line is, Dazzle survives long enough with the heal in the grave to make Slaughter Tusk initiations harder to make their impact, in particularly when you're fighting on the creep wave. But we have the Wind Ranger coming out here for their mid option, and of course she is one of the more prominent mids for specific teams. Sometimes there are teams that don't run Wind Ranger at all, don't want to touch that hero, and you're not afraid of those. But when you have a good Wind Ranger player, you have to respect it and you have to be afraid of it. And we'll see what Yor brings to the table on that pick in particular. But their last pick here for Elite Wolves here in Phase 2 is
remaining.
likely to be another support. Probably just an Earthshaker, I would say. Makes the most sense here.
5 seconds remaining.
They could go for something a little bit more nuke-y, something that does a little bit more
Reserve
damage.
time.
Spirit Breaker, interesting.
Radiant team ban.
I mean, he's good against the Wyvern. Okay, so this is a take advantage of the dual lanes, I think. So I think what they want to do is they want to run Spirit Breaker, Darkseer bottom, and essentially it's Wyvern +1 in that lane. They know that because Slardar Tusk is committed to the top lane. Tusk can roam around and leave the Slardar to just do his own thing, but you want at least at some point in the game to get the Tusk comboed up with the Slardar, which means that if Spirit Breaker stays bottom with Darkseer, you can play around with Ion Shell a lot. Go for the double Ion Shell on your heroes and just run down the Wyvern. Make sure she's not pulling, she's not getting independent experience, and probably getting a couple of kills here. And I'm curious what DC pick up in terms of their last core to mitigate that. The Slardar actually could do that pretty well. I think you could run the Slardar safe lane, but then you completely shift the configuration for what you're running in the off lane. The ban out Slarkies, or Van Slark, just to make sure. You don't want to give him his best hero as comfort hero, especially when you only have a couple of spells to mitigate its effectiveness. But Ewell's really just looking to take an early advantage here, and they're looking to go aggressive. So, I think Juggernaut's a pretty key pick here. So like I said, Sven's not bad either. Something that can live through the key exchanges here, I would say. But for now, the final ban coming out for Elite Wolves. Trying to predict what TC is selecting here, if it's not something that's already on the board. Obviously, TC can go for the Slardar, he could even go for the Wind Ranger, but they both come with their weaknesses from a safe lane farming position. I would say the biggest weakness would be that you don't have anything that can test the Queen of Pain if you don't have a Wind Ranger in mid. There is one team in NA Dota that runs mid Tusk, but it's not this one, so I don't think we're going to be looking for that alternative either, no matter how flexible you get. They go ahead and just ban out a bit of a wild card here, the Necrophos, which I don't think DC were looking to pick up, but obviously there's a lot of potential with that Reaper Scythe. That's honestly one of the best spells in the game. Like, the ability to just take time away from your enemy is just something that almost no other hero can do in that capacity. DC on the clock, but not a tense one. They have a full minute and 15 plus seconds here to select their final hero, but I think they already probably had something in mind. The Necrophos doesn't change much. So they've got, yeah, Juggernaut, okay. So they got the amplification of damage, which allows the Omnislash to do more. They've got the focus fire. They've got, obviously, the Wyvern ultimate. So essentially, the Juggernaut provides one really cool thing, because it's essentially a positioning in fights. If you're isolated, if you're by yourself, and the Juggernaut Omnislashes you, unless the Dazzle can get a long-range Shallow Grave off, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. You can't be isolated by a Juggernaut. But at the same time, if you group, you're going to be instantly punished by the Slardar, and shortly thereafter the Winter Wyvern. So you're in a kind of topsy-turvy situation, and it puts a lot of pressure on the Dazzle to always be in the right spot here. We're going to have to see some huge plays from the Dazzle in terms of positioning to not be caught out. And PA is going to be the last pick here. Definitely a hero that can punish aggression. Orb of Venom, Stifling Dagger is legit, but she isn't the most bursty of heroes until at least level 6. So I'm a little bit worried about how it'll play out on the laning phase, but obviously the Blur is going to be a great passive to have this game in general, and it might force a Silver Edge pickup out of a hero that wouldn't normally go for it. So you've got, for example, the Slardar hunting aggressively, you got the Wind Ranger. Anyone honestly could pick up a Silver Edge other than the Wyvern, but do you really want to commit to that when PA will most likely just go for a BKB right after? It's tough. So the alternative is getting MKB on like 2 or 3 heroes and just trying to bring her down that way.
5 seconds remaining.
So I think I like Digital Chaos's lanes better, but I would expect the mid game to be really coming down to positioning in fights. So let's go ahead and introduce our two teams. Thanks once again for tuning in here. To the Star Ladder English broadcast, we've got Support Tusk, played by Out2000, leaving a Bulbasaur with the same items as before. That's going to be Yawar on the mid lane Wind Ranger with the null tally start. You've got Wyvern, played by Buryu here. Just going to be supporting TC's Juggernaut here in the safe lane. TC actually going for the Mango here in case he needs that extra burst of mana in a tough spot. But yeah, DC are now down one game, as you can see at the top there. So they are looking to bring this back a little bit. And I'm just now realizing my overlay is slightly wrong, so I'm going to try to fix that. I might just have to leave silence for a moment here as I figure that out. It's a tiny change, but it annoys me now that I've noticed it. And I'm sure there's somebody that was annoyed by it as well. So let's see here. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to leave it as it is, because we've got a game to watch. Sorry guys, it is not Europe, it is Americas, but we're just gonna keep an eye on the game itself. Anyways, go ahead, controlling the top bounty rune. We've got Yawar starting off with the healing salve as before, and we're actually gonna see a double bounty rune here as Juggernaut snipes it from the Darkseer. So that's actually gonna be a great start for TC, where he normally wouldn't have that 100 experience advantage. As far as wards go, nothing blocking spawns, just a lot of scouting wards. Lane scouting ward here on top as well as bottom. Just keeping an eye on movement here. While a classic turtle ward comes out for the Radiant side, and I think they're holding on to one more. Yeah, Out2000 waiting on that one. Anyways, down bottom here, TC going to be pressured pretty heavily. Spirit Breaker, Orb of Venom, and the level 1 Greater Bash. Going to be putting some good hits in, but the Arctic Burn looks to turn around. In fact, they're going to go for the spin, and they will get the slow. M-God, Mystico taking a lot of damage here, and doesn't have a quick healing ability with a healing salve unless Strange commits it to him. So, kind of awkward exchange to start things off, but they're just trying to put pressure, and obviously Buryu was off the lane at that point in time. So, gonna be kind of back and forth here. Really comes down to what's off cooldown. If the spin and the Arctic Burn are off cooldown, Digital Chaos have an advantage in this configuration. When it's on cooldown, then Ewos get to play around a lot more if they have the health to do so. In the meantime, Bulba is gonna look for the pull. Barely gets the range creep, and that's about it. But that will still reset the creep equilibrium a little bit here. Aoi does not go for snowball level. He's actually going ice shards. And just looking for some combo stuff with the Crush. Alright, we gotta pause. Round 2. Blaze versus overlays. Let's see if he can get it. Alright, I found the overlay in question. Now let's, boom, boom, boom. There we are. No problem, guys. It's America once again. You have been liberated. Alrighty. So, pause coming out now, gonna be cancelled. We have, in the mid lane, an interesting matchup here. Wind Ranger versus Queen of Pain, with Wind Ranger really forcing the early last hit exchange. In fact, Smash only is 2-0 right now, despite what I would say having the potential to really levy this matchup. Queen of Pain really has the ability to just get up in your face and just Shadow Strike and force harder trades, and especially when the wind runs on cooldown, you can't do anything. So I feel like Smash definitely has more potential aggression, but we'll have to keep an eye on this charge. It's scattered out by the Observer Ward, and Wind Ranger going under tower. It looks like they'll still want to commit for it. Shackle Shot onto Mystico, and he can just wind run away. The last dot tick not going to be sufficient. And in fact, Mystico taking a lot of hits here, dropping down to 100 HP. Or less. Attic Shards almost pulls him in, but Aoi only is level 1, and he doesn't actually get to wrap him inside the cold embrace there. Speaking of, we got a Wyvern pressuring the Darkseer, putting a few hits into him and taking away a lot of HP, but they're actually pushing out this wave really hard with the double range, and that just means that Strange has been holding on to Ion Shells until this point, and now he's going to just commit them harder and harder. In the meantime, top lane, we've got Bulba trying to scare off the Van, who is already pursuing his Ring of Aquila, and another charge down mid lane. So, we're going to see Yawar take some hits here. Not going to be too big of a deal for him. He's in fact still power shotting against him, doesn't really care that much. But might have to go for a Bottle Crow as a result. So right now, it is going to be Van on the PA that's having the best time. The Tusk has rotated a little bit to the mid lane. It's still not level 2. I think that's the big difference here. If you just sat in lane until level 2 and then started roaming, I think Aoi gets a little bit more done, but he almost had an opportunity on the Spear Breaker, and it was just slightly off the mark. Gonna see the spin Arctic Burn come out, but of course this is a Dark Seer you're dealing with, so he has no problem going in, and we're actually gonna see the charge come out as soon as that spin ends. We're gonna see the Cold Embrace, but that doesn't help too much against the Ion Shell, and looking for the flanking right click. Can he get the bash? They vacuum him back. He needs one bash, but he's not gonna get it, and he's not gonna pursue. So, we're gonna see him healing Salve up, maybe skill up the healing ward at this point. We've been seeing a lot of max spin builds recently, but no, he actually has put 1 point in stats, holding on to the other point for the moment. And a 1-1-1 build from the Wyvern is kind of interesting as well. Actually have a nice little flank here from Aoi against level 1. Gift the Snowball! So much more kill potential with that Snowball, but not really on a Queen of Pain. She's still going to blink out either way. Bottom, TC, has a spin. Oh, they're going to focus on the Mystico here, and he might need to be surged away. No, it's on cooldown, as they're going very aggressive, and they're going to be punished for it! They get the first blood against the Darkseer. And Mystico has to walk away with no HP all the way back, the long walk of shame, to the fountain. So that's actually going to be a really good start for DC. They open up their safe lane. They're only like 3 CS behind the PA, and they just got the first blood, as well as the bounty run on TC. So on a lot of fronts, the Juggernaut is ahead of the PA as we switch it over to net worth. Boom. I don't usually work at net worth at 5 minutes, but in this case it's quite appropriate. Now you'll note Van actually didn't go for the Orb of Venom here. I think that's pretty cool, but I haven't played enough PA this patch to really critique it one way or another. I think Orb of Venom is nice, but probably I guess you want like a ganking support. You want somebody else to like go in and get kills, and Dazzle is not that hero. So Darkseer kind of rotates in the jungle. He's got double stack here he could mess with, killing off Satyrs for now. It's a simple way to handle the situation, but Bulba in some trouble here. Has Magic Stick, has Sprint, and has some Spidey senses as he goes far under the tower, sprinting and crushing too early. Mystico will connect with the charge, and they will stifle Orb and right-click him down. But he goes under his tower, and they're afraid of the TPs. Wind Ranger looking for the top rune. Could it be something juicy? No. It's the worst rune for most heroes at this stage of the game, the Illusion. Valve could make this game so much more interesting just by taking Illusion out of the game for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or something. Gonna see the Ice Shard's nice block off, but Strange jukes to the south and is still going to be hit by that Snowball. No Surge available. I'm going to try to Tango through. No, he doesn't have a Tango. He has to vacuum the tree line, and that's not going to do enough. Another kill for the Juggernaut. Mid lane, Smash. Pursuing onto UR. He has a blink forward with the Sonic Wave. This should be a kill. Just a little bit more damage and 35 HP. The Wind Ranger lives, bottling away, but he doesn't have enough mana for the TP, and he might go down to the Shadow Strike dots. In the meantime, Bulba does get the return kill, and he does get the mana for the TP with a Magic Wand usage. So, that is no kill on the Wind Ranger. Him living with about 40 HP, and then Bulba with a quick TP, killing off the Queen of Pain, who overcommitted herself 3-0. For Digital Chaos, really just a completely different team than we saw in Game 1. Omni Slash available, but he's already used his Mango, so he's going to have to use that as his only spell if they go for the kill. And Darkseer has a lot of armor. Actually going to be going for a play here with his ultimate, and yeah, he's surging in the Juggernaut! Go, Juggernaut, go! But the Healing Ward, oh, he kills the Healing Ward instantly! The Ion Shell almost taking him down. He's going to be fine for the moment, but he's going to have to walk all the way back home. No Healing Ward to keep him on the lane. So, yeah, pretty good usage of the wall there. And as I was going to say, the Darkseer isn't really afraid in that situation because he's got so much armor naturally. Just 7 armor and the Stout Shield. Juggernaut's not going to do too much. Smash going for the double Nal Tally, no boots. This means he really is just trying to win the lane as best he can, but still pretty far behind here. 20 CS behind Yawar. Right now, Smash is the one getting smashed, and one more jump on him could really set him back. Queen of Pain's an okay mid to play from behind, but you do so much more in the game when you're so far ahead on such a snowball hero. Still, while there are some really good things happening for the Juggernaut, happening for the Wind Ranger, I will say that Bulba's having a worse game than before. Well, before he had pretty much a free lane to play around with. He got to go for treads and a very early Blink Dagger. Now, I actually think he's a little bit off that tempo. He hasn't really been able to come to the lane without being worried about the dagger poke and, of course, the charge. But for right now, his team as a whole is 2,000 net worth ahead, and the experience is being traded back and forth very actively.
Denied.
Nuh-uh.
Spear Breaker looking probably for one more gank play before he just sits in lane and farms his level 6. Darkseer actually caught out completely. Nice rotation from Maui, and that's a clean kill. Mid lane, though, there's that gank I was talking about. Charging in, the wind run has expired, but Buryu scares him off. Could just Cold Embrace under the tower and keep him out of kill range, even with the Scream Sonic Wave. Alright, another charge coming through. Bulba might actually be going down here. Depends on the crush timing. He doesn't get it before he gets bashed. Now the crush comes through, and he's going to run for the hills. Run like he's never run before. And Wind Ranger actually gets the shackle onto Van. A little bit of blur passive. There's the Shallow Grave. TP. And no stun in time. So close from Bulba, but he went instead of like juking in the trees here, he went for the safest play he could make and just ran as far as he could. Can't blame him, but it does actually miss the return kill when UR makes the play happen. Switching over net worth here, we've got 45 and 4,300 on Juggernaut and Wind Ranger respectively. Really good place to be for them. And a little bit of bottle play, but Smash back in action here in mid, but he's got to find a kill with the Sonic Wave. Right now 0, 1, and 0 at 10 minutes. TC going to be looking for the Battle Fury here. Makes a lot of sense up against the Darkseer. All those illusions. Sometimes you see Manta on PA. You don't want to be committing Juggernaut's Omni Slash to those types of things. You want to cleave those out early in your Omni Slash, and then be able to kill everybody else off throughout. So, Battle Fury, really good. And of course, it's a great farming item to keep up with the PA, who otherwise gets really big really quick. Looks like it's going to be an Aghanim Scepter build-up from UR. Not as great against the PA, but as we saw, until she's maxing Blur, it's not going to be that problematic. Aoi has a magic stick, not worth using because he'll just die anyways.
Out of the veil.
And we'll look at the early levels as a result of that kill. We've got level 9 on the 2 cores we've been hyping up for DC, but still some decent levels on E-Wolves. They've got 3 level 8 heroes, and those heroes want to get involved shortly, I would say. Maybe we see Strange just go to farm that mechanism, but everybody else is going to be looking for some action.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Glyph used up here on the mid-tier 1, but no real challenge for it. It's going to be dropping just outside deny range before Yuara backs off here. Actually, he leaves it a little bit healthier than that. 428 HP.
Is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Top lane, counter pressure coming in. Aoi's here though, and definitely can keep somebody locked in place, preferably the Dazzle. But here in mid lane is where the action's going to be. We're going to see just a 3-man flank killing off the Darkseer as the Splinter Blast finishes them off. But they don't have actually TPs to rotate, so they're going to just trade towers 1 for 1. The mid tier 1 against the Dire, and the top tier 1 against the Radiant. Nice pursuit here onto Mystico, but not only does he have the charge, but now he has Invis, and he's going to slip right by. Tower does go down though, and UR is now actually only 1,600 gold off the Aghanim Scepter. That might change though. We're going to see the ultimate coming in from the Wyvern just to keep UR alive, and they actually get the 2-man shackle and the Omni Slash through, spinning and killing Van. The Shallow Grave, the only thing to keep him alive. Smash kills off Buryu in the process, but Van is on the run. Does get the Phantom Strike Ray, slows down Bubble, and is Surge home free. Lola, I don't think he's in that. Nope, it is going to be Smash coming in. Yeah, it's kind of hard to make that call whether or not they want to commit everything they have to finish him off, but obviously Smash is just looking for any blood he can spill. He already got Buryu pretty cleanly, so getting that kill is going to put him on the board. And give him actually 1,900 current gold, allowing him to pursue to pretty much whatever item he would choose. There's a lot of items you can think of for the Queen of Pain. Right now, Aghanim Scepter and Orchid are probably the top 2. So we'll see what Smash goes for. Maybe just a Treads Wand for now, but depends on really what, if he needs the oomph, if he wants survivability, really what he's looking for here. Dominator up for Van. No ancient stacking, not even a Dominator creep as far as I can tell, but well, there might be one down here. Seder Hadouken! PA's got this under control. But in the meantime, TC farming up I would say a much more dangerous item. Van needs to find momentum in this game, because right now he's down 1100 net worth, and the Battle Fury is going to put TC even further ahead. They're going to be thrown into the abyss of suffering very quickly if TC are just kind of given free reign over their own jungle. Oh, Spearbreaker wants this level 6. He's going to get it with the next creep, and now he's looking to nether strike somebody. It's going to be maybe Aoi here. He's the one most vulnerable, but no Shallow Grave from the Dazzle means now Spearbreaker's in a terrible position in this fight. Nether strike on Buryu, but he can't actually right-click him down. Instead gets shackled to a tree and brought down. Oh my. The aggression from Evil is unwarranted and just incapable of finding anything more, especially with Smash being non-participatory. He's going to work towards that Ags, but he's got a decent ways to farm there, as he did go... Well, yeah, just because of the kind of slow start for him. I mean, his last hits are only 64 right now. This is just not the game the Queen of Pain wanted. TC actually going to be taking some damage here, but I don't see a kill without the Spearbreaker. Speaking of, Spearbreaker looking to charge, maybe? Or you got the Winter's Curse, just puts it right out onto Strange, and they're going to be putting some damage into him, but he's still not going anywhere near death from that. Buryu, in fact, getting destroyed by Smash and Mystico, and the Ice Charge from Aoi, actually beautiful to keep him away from the wolves that are hunting. They will drop the wall, it will be completely ineffective, but they've got them. The wolf pack is stalking. They are surrounding their targets, and they are just ready to dive in. It's going to be Van, who gets Omni-Slashed and Shackled. The Shallow Grave a little bit early here, and the Heal Bomb not enough to keep Van alive in the end. Or maybe it will be Van Phantom Striking away, Smash blinking away, and in the end, it's only one kill against the Wolves, and of course, the death of the Wind Ranger. Misoku will be cleaned up on the tail end of it, giving TC a dominating streak, but the fact that they got out with the PA and the Quap there was actually quite immaculate from E-Wolves. So, they kill off the Wind Ranger. I think a streak ended there. Yeah, 460 gold going to the Queen of Pain, and that's practically the Axe. She's only 850 gold off the Aghanim Scepter now, which allows her to just counter-push so effectively and obviously be very involved in the fights. Really, once you get the Axe up, you only have one long cooldown on the team. Wall of Replica has a 100-second cooldown. Other than that, you got 80 seconds on the Nether Strike. They're a very fast team for back-to-back fights. And they might be able to hit DC where it hurts when the Winter's Curse and the Omni-Slash are unavailable. So, for now, DC is still maintaining their net worth lead. But I think Eagles are going to look to take this Tier 1 tower, and even with Winter's Curse, I don't know if DC is comfortable holding it. I think with a Blink Dagger, they'd be contesting bottom. But since they don't have it, Bulba just looks to farm.
Structures are fortified.
And if Smash Blast hits that, that's pretty much Aghanim Scepter for him. And they're going to give it to him. No, the Rage Creep! MVP. And he denies it, despite deny. You betrayer. That was my gold. But he'll have it in 300 gold nevertheless. Fan. What does he go next? Does he just need to go for a BKB? Obviously he's maxing his passive now. Blur is very important in this game. Oh. War, perfectly fine. Another quick shackle. Just disrupt that charge play. And it looks like that'll be about it.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Dark Troll Summoner pushing out the mid lane, while up top TC just clears this out, no problem. Battle Fury online, and Tier 1 tower deconstructed. Charge coming in here. This could be a little bit unorthodox, though. Going in right onto Out 2000, right into the Winter's Curse. They're going to be taking a lot of damage. The mechanism's doing something, but it might not be enough. Yawar goes through the wall and comes out the other side with his hands bloody, kills off the Darkseer, and now looks for Spirit Breaker. Has that charge, but might get crushed. Oh, barely dodges the crush, but he charged TC, and he's not going to find anything here. But the Sonic Wave will help clean up too, and Omni Slash has to be used to finish off that Spirit Breaker. Now a nice combo onto Smash, but it's not enough to kill him off, and he will blink away, leaving PA to perhaps pick up the pieces of this team fight. They have the Dark Troll Summoners Ensnare coming up in just 2 seconds, and they're going to go onto TC pretty hard here. He'll spin, and the Wolf the Troll dies before he gets the Ensnare, but it's not needed to bring down Owie, and in fact, TC in some trouble, gets crit, gets charged, gets killed. It's a triple kill for Van. It is a team wipe for TC. Elite Wolves just pulling out all the stops here. Oh, what looked like a bit of a misengagement there as they charge into the Winter's Curse and just get completely caught out. They're able to follow up for just a tremendous team fight of their own. Now they bring it to 10-14, and look at the experience drop. Now in favor of Elite Wolves after that exchange. And I think a big aspect of that is the mechanism. Like, the Darkseer doesn't have much survivability there. Winter's Curse kills him off, he doesn't do anything. But because he has the mechanism, I would say kind of waste the Winter's Curse in the Darkseer. He heals himself, and they keep on playing around them. They have the Spirit Breaker just running circles around them, controlling the fight, and then obviously Smash and Van came to play. They brought in all the damage they needed to turn that fight completely around, and it's just going to be easier and easier for them to make those kinds of plays happen. So, Juggernaut may be farming faster, but E-Wolves are really just taking these fights by storm. They've got the SMY now up on PA. She just gets one good survivability item. She could just stay in the fights all day long. Do a lot of work. Good wards here, too, from the Dire. This one's been around for a while, but this one's going to be expiring in the jungle, and then, of course, they have this one very recently placed on the top lane by Masoku. And bottom, they're going to be smoking it. They're going to be going with the charge onto Bulba, trying to kill him off before he gets any crush off, and they get it with the double crit. A dagger crit and an auto attack, and that will be a dead Slardar. Now what do they do with it? Tier 1 tower seems pretty good in the mid lane, but they could just find more kills, if only for the line of sight, if only for a little bit less Fog of War. The Helmet Dominator gives you a 1400 HP catapult, and that Siege Creep's going to be going to town here on mid. Go, Cardi, go!
Middle tower is under attack.
Between the Darkseer and the Dominator, there's a lot of Radiant Creep betrayal. So, the Deny actually comes out from TC, and they get the Shackle onto Mystico. He will be able to charge away, but that Snowball should finish him off with the Ice Shards. No! Owie doesn't cast it. You can cast Ice Shards during Snowball, but, no. Spirit Breaker slips through his fingers with an impeccable Shallow Grave once more. And I gotta give Dazzle praise. Like, almost all of his Shallow Graves have been perfect, and it's really a hard game to be a Dazzle. You have to stay all the way back. You have to use the max range on this ability constantly, and he's been doing a really good job. Saved multiple lives so far. So that brings net worth down to 0 and experience favoring E-Wolves dramatically. But I want to see them take more objectives. They need to not only take the fight, but follow it up with towers. They've taken every tier 1, but they want to start suppressing the Juggernaut's farming space, and that means that they need to start taking tier 2s and start getting very involved in enemy jungle. Smash gonna get the blink? No! It's just coming off cooldown. He had enough time to cast a spell, but the spell he wanted wasn't available. Still, though, looks like it might be a 1-for-1 as they kill off the Wind Ranger and go for the Queen of Pain buyback to commit to Roshan. Without Queen of Pain here, you better believe DC would be in the pit, but with the Queen of Pain, I think they were scared enough that they'll just take the tier 2 top, which would be, of course, a huge win for the Elite Wolves. You trade, essentially, your buyback life. If the Queen of Pain picks it up, you trade your buyback life for this Aegis, and that's a pretty equivalent exchange. We do see, however, there's going to be a big crush here on top with the spin, and what looked to be a charge play to defend the tier 2 is now going to be the death of the Spear Breaker and the Darkseer. And the tower, of course, will fall. So, PA gets the Aegis, Dire get the Roshan, Queen of Pain now without a buyback, but she's got her key item. If she needed more farm, I would say, oh no, you know, We were looking for the next big pickup, and it's going to be delayed significantly. But a buyback of 23 minutes costs you 700 gold, and he wouldn't have spent any money on it anyway. So this gets them Roshan. The only problem is they lost 2 heroes and a tower in exchange for it, and they probably could have just lost the tower. TC up against Van, a little bit scared. Between the two of them, I don't think either of them saw each other there until the last second. But more great wards. Misoku just really has a very unique vision for the game in terms of getting control of the map, and I actually really like what he's been doing this game in terms of ops. I mean, like, you have some standard ones here, but even this is more standard for Radiant than Dire, and this in particular is just gorgeous. It gives you so much intel, and it's almost never going to be dewarded until Bulba buys another gem. SMY for the jug. Blink Force for Slardar soon. The Wind Ranger actually going for it looks like that Silver Edge of her own. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be actually a long while before that Silver Edge is complete, unless they take a fight. But having Aghanims into Silver Edge, at least as your game plan for dealing with this PA, I think it's a pretty smart way to approach the game.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So they take 2 tier 2s. E-Wills only take 1, but they still have the Aegis for, I think, like 3.5 minutes.
Dire's middle tower.
Ryu caught out a little bit, but loses vision, and actually could just TP away, but they don't want to just TP away. They want to kill Smash. He obviously doesn't have buyback, and he doesn't have the blink. He will be going down, and that's a great pickup for DC. Now E-Wolves are completely on the defensive, and that will cut out another 2 minutes of their Aegis time. Precious, precious Aegis time, yeah. And able to go offensive with this, they have to go as soon as Queen of Pain's up, essentially. Right now it's going to be Darkseer who gets caught out, and he's dead to rights. Yeah, the Shallow Grave is there, but still, this Darkseer is completely isolated and will be going down to the jug. Misoku actually caught 2. Oh, perfect game. Goes and is splattered on the concrete as the crush comes through. Dazzle buys back, has that grave, but it's such a difficult position to hold from without the Queen of Pain. That's the reason you give Queen of Pain the Aegis there. Like, if you lose the PA in an offensive fight, that's okay. You get her right back up. If you lose the Queen of Pain in a defensive sense, you have no way to hold the high ground. Absolutely none. They just lost a lane of racks for that decision. We're going to see Van, though, get the bash onto Aoi 2000, but he just turns it with a snowball. Great Walrus punch onto Van, and the Grave is the only thing keeping him in play here as he goes onto a Cold Embrace target. Oh, he changes it to Bulba at the last second, but it's insufficient to keep him alive, and they all TP away from that Aegis respawn. Oh, what a beautiful fight from DC. Just completely out-executing E-Wolves in that exchange. As soon as they pop the Aegis, they immediately call retreat, and it's not a second of hesitation before they're TPing home. Smash has the blink in just a second, barely gets it off, and the power shot is not attempted, nor is it going to be effective against the Dazzle. TC in a little bit of trouble. We'll see another dagger come through. No, just off, out of range. But my oh my, that's really cost E-Wolves in terms of momentum this game. Like, they were in a position to really take this if they just got a little bit further ahead. They were already bringing it down to 0, but suddenly, one pick-off on a hero that doesn't have buyback, didn't have the Aegis, and it just all goes to hell. So, once again, great play from Iwar this game, despite the difficulty found with the Shadow Fiend in Game 1. He has been playing immaculately on this one. Doesn't get the spin, gets the bash. Oh, TC. Evaporating before our eyes. That was a good charge in the sense that, kind of luckily, TC ran through this path, which means you go right through the trees. You're not going to be able to spin that, and it's going to be a lot harder to survive long enough for reinforcements to come in. Looks like Lotus Orb or Lincoln's on Darkseer, but not either for a while, as he gets caught out completely. Great ward, seeing the movement here, and of course the Wind Ranger once again with the shackles. 14,000 net worth on Iwar. He is so close to the Silver Edge, he can taste it at that point. Oh my god, again! He is gonna be Shallow Graved in a moment here. Smash will survive, get the Sonic Wave off, but They actually just Winner's Curse him, and he's definitely going down. Oh, Masoku no longer has the Grave, and Van is having to fight for his life. A two-man shackle from Yuar. Beautiful play here. In 2 seconds, the Grave will be there, and it is available now. Pops the Grave, keeps Van alive. Need another Phantom Strike away, but he goes in. Van goes in and is going to be going down. They've committed everything to this, and they're losing everything in the process. Masoku won't get the TP away. That's going to be 4 down. 5 if you count the earlier Darkseer kill. And that should be top lane.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Bottom tier 1 falls to a massive creep wave. Tier 2 should be taking some big chips, but they're looking for a lot more than that. Quick fight recap, you see you are topping the damage, getting 2 amazing shackles. And this just feels like a hero that you have to be threatened by now. The Wind Ranger just brought so much to this draft. Was a decent matchup against the Queen of Pain. And then you are outplayed the Queen of Pain. Smash got dunked on in terms of last hits. She has a shackle that she can skill up early for a counter to the charge. And then from there, just beautiful, beautiful shackle shot play that can give you so many free kills. However, we do see some limited mana supplies here on Digital Chaos, so without any real resources, they want to retreat. Buryu might be run down. Yeah. They take the easier pickup and walk away with that, but they've lost the melee racks here on top. And that's a pretty big deficit to come back from. Howie 2000, better late than never, picks up the mechanism and can go for the Guardian Greaves next. Solar Crest, Guardian Greaves, and are we seeing another Silver Edge? Like I said, there's like 4 heroes that can go Silver Edge this game, so why not all of them? I don't know. This just makes it so the PA has a really hard time fighting. I mean, she went for the Basher when I feel like she could have gone for the BKB, and that would give her her evasion back, essentially. As soon as you get hit by the Silver Edge, you immediately pop your BKB, and you know, you have some good fight potential, but right now PA is having some trouble. And it's actually not Silver Edge coming in from UR. What's up with that? It just goes for the MKB. Okay. It's an interesting choice. One option takes away the blur evasion for whenever Wind Ranger's hitting him, which is probably the most important hero to be hitting the PA. The other option takes away both the crit and the evasion, but it can be removed by BKB. So I guess he just chose the approach that relies more on his own ability, and that's to essentially just get any kind of lockdown on the PA and get the kill himself. And in the meantime, I'm sure Bubble will build the Silver Edge, so it works out. Alright, Mystico looking at charge play, but might be going under an Observer where this could be very bad for him if they just look to turn. But it's actually going to be the Shackle here, onto 2, Smash and Strange, caught out completely once again. And need I remind you, this Wind Ranger does not have a Blink Dagger. She only has a Shadow Blade, yet she set up every single fight with incredible shackles, and that one is just not even fair. Volvo, please. We're going to see them wiped out here. 4 going down, despite the Dazzle's best efforts, and that is going to be bringing us to a Game 3 for the night, guys. What an incredible showing from DC. What an incredible showing from UR. Really just stepping up his Wind Ranger game. Going from 0 to hero from between Game 1 and 2. And really just some incredible potential from him. I gotta say, I really admire what he's been able to bring to the table here with the Shackles, and DC in general just drafting smart. I think they knew what they needed to accomplish this game in terms of their picks, and that's exactly what they did. They see the Darkseer, they answer back with the Winter Wyvern Tusk. This really shuts down a lot of the Darkseer combos, and then they get 2 heroes that can survive any the Spirit Breaker charges. So you got the Juggernaut Spin, you got the Shackle Shot Wind Ranger, you've got your tools to escape. Even sometimes the Crush can be enough to keep you alive. So all that coming together, I think that Digital Chaos had a really smart draft. They had incredible plays with the Shackles, and they absolutely deserved this 31.5-minute victory. So that's going to be tying it up 1